The GMen, October 1st, 2025. Ah.
And welcome to the GMen podcast. Now, longtime listeners to our other show, since we're only on show 9, would know that Gaz and I, we hate rumors with a passion. We constantly make fun of analysts who have built their reputations by giving titillating rumors that are usually too good to be true. This one, however, I couldn't pass up for reasons that we'll go into later. Hey, Gaz, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very, I say I'm very good. Last week I mentioned to the world, well, this podcast, that I was having the schnip, or I'd had it. I've now had a few days of it, almost a week, I suppose.
Mm.
Now that's not what the show title is actually about. There's a little I'm diverting you all to think,
What?
oh no, the middle section isn't going to be about
tangent.
a tangent. The middle section isn't going to be all about circumcision, is it, Gaz? No, it's not. You're okay. Although in a way, I suppose circumcision could be brought into the subject. We'll see how good Guy is at doing that later on. I'm very well.
I would not trust me with that procedure to save anyone's life.
No. Well, it wasn't a matter of life or death, was it? No, I'm good. I'm not been doing a great deal for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Sitting
What?
down.
No bike riding?
No bike riding. Sitting down tentatively, generally, just keeping a low profile, as it were.
So many things I could say.
I know. Yes, I know. I have been quite impressed with a few things, but I'm not going to go there. It's really not worthy of this show, I've got to say. Maybe a medical show.
You say that, and then I think about all the things that we've talked
I
about.
know. I set you off, and there you go.
Okay.
Anyway, how about you?
Well, pretty much the same. Quick program note: we may or may not have a show next week, since I'm going to Colorado to visit my sister for a couple of days, and then it's off to Idaho. I'll see my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. Wife Tracy is going there the day after I leave for Colorado. And at some point while I'm there, I will have breakfast with Gary Apter.
Hi, Gaz.
Yeah, Gary Apter. He's a good guy. He lives out there, and even better, he has a car, so I don't have to rent one to go have breakfast with him. Now we're gonna have. There'll be a couple of cars there because, wow, this is complicated. My sister,
complicated Guy.
Son.
No, never.
Sister-in-law's son is also going to be there, and he'll have a car. I don't know about her other son and his wife and kids, but it'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to getting out to Idaho before it gets really, really cold. And just because it seems to be the thing that I do, I am still, how many weeks is this now, Gaz? On my Heil PR35 microphone.
It's just weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm not counting, if I'm perfectly honest.
I don't think
it must be more than 2, I think.
Yes. It's just weird. After all of those years of constantly switching microphones, I seem to have kind of settled on this one.
You obviously like the sound of your own voice through that microphone.
I do. And I don't particularly, because I live monitor what we're doing, I don't particularly like it as we're recording. But when I listen back and doing little bits of adjustments and stuff in the editing process, it's like, oh, that sounds pretty good. Yeah.
For anybody who is still relatively new here, Guy's mic passion is legendary.
It kind of is.
legendary. Not from my perspective, I have to say, because very often a change of mic meant a complete cock up when it came to recording. But, we'll
Because
give
it changed
him.
everything.
Everybody has their own little passions, and mics seem to be guys. So there you go.
So I've been good. I've been good lately.
You've been very good.
I don't think since I got this mic and started using it, which I think was like January, February, when we were still doing the My Mac podcast. This has been the mic that I've been using. The only mic I can think of that I used longer was, again, another Heil, that PR40 that I had. But I think this sounds better than it, and it's less expensive.
There you go.
And this is not the mic show, so we should probably move on to something else. What do you think?
I think I'm going to jump straight into Gaz's snippets. Okay, so there was an awful lot this week of reviews of stuff still, so I obviously had to filter through those. But here's the first one. Germany pushes to block Apple and other US companies from EU's shared financial data system. So the European Union is setting up a new financial data sharing system that will promote the development of new digital financial products. However, Apple and other US companies may not get access to it just yet, or ever. We'll see about that. I've got a feeling that flies against what the openness of the European Union is supposed to be. So we'll see how that goes.
And see if all the EU members tag along with that.
Well, that's right. That's right. We'll have to see how it gets off the ground. And I can hear a certain person in our audience already complaining about that, but we won't say any more. Apple have stopped signing iOS 18.6.2, blocking iOS 26 downgrade. So if you've upgraded and didn't like it, tough.
Too bad for you.
Yeah. Apple expands tap to pay on iPhone in 5 more countries across Europe. And this is tap to pay where you tap phone to phone, I think, the NFC tap phone to phone. Now, those European countries are Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Monaco, and Norway. I was surprised Norway wasn't already on there, to be honest with you. I would have thought they'd have been quite early, but apparently not.
They're so much of a go along to get along kind of country.
Yeah.
I'm half Norwegian. I can do that. I can make fun there.
Okay. Going away from the French and going on to the Norwegians. Thanks a lot. These people are all a lot closer to me, so I'm the one that's going to get.
You're like my filter. So
Thanks.
They'll go after you, get tired, and then be like, "Who was the other person?" I don't know. Let's go home.
Apple launches new project to protect and restore California redwood forest. Apple announced a new investment in a working redwood forest in California in collaboration even with
that word
with the Conservation Fund. Apple has announced new investment for part of its. That's the same story. I'll move on.
Apple under iTrees is what they are.
iTrees, yeah.
USB-C powered.
Apple under legal scrutiny in the EU over scam apps. Now, I think Apple has responded. Apple has frequently cited insecure and scam apps as justification for wanting all iPhone apps to be sold exclusively in the company's own app store. Numerous reports, however, have found that there is no shortage of scam apps making it through Apple's app review process, and the company is now under fresh legal scrutiny in the EU over this issue.
What do they mean by scam apps, though? It's
well, the sort of apps which ask you to sign into just to get you to do something and spend money on stuff which you won't get anything back for, or that it's going to cost you an awful lot of money, or that draws you into pulling a load of data.
Okay.
We've seen them, Guy. We've seen the scam apps.
I know.
You're just being awkward,
weird,
aren't you? Not
what
weird.
Am I
you're not just being weird. You're always weird.
That's a given.
Now, Disney Plus is raising prices again. Why have I brought this in? Because this has got nothing to do with Apple, Guy, has it?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
However, the issue with these larger companies coming in and raising prices is I can assure you folks there will be a company fruit based that will then be able to follow and match suit. And I think this is just the start of
Yeah.
prices
Now,
going
see,
up
I don't know what it is
everywhere.
over in the UK and the EU, but if you get like the whole Disney, Hulu, ESPN package here in the States, it's going to be $99. So I already have Hulu and I'm not interested in ESPN. So, and, and here's the thing, Disney, your Star Wars and Marvel stuff, which has been the stuff that has kept me with you for this long, has been total crap. So, of all of the digital streaming services that I have, you're first on the hit list.
Apple Wallet is getting US passport support very soon on the iPhone. I might mention that again later about something else. Some
But
iPhone 7.
there's a problem there, though. And it's the same thing with digital IDs, whether it's driver's license or what have you. It all depends on who accepts it. So if I have my passport on the phone, then if I go to the
Yeah,
UK
Guy.
or
Yeah,
EU,
Guy. Yeah, I get it, Guy. I get it.
yeah,
But I'm going to say, in defense of this whole process, is it's got to start somewhere.
yeah, yeah, but
And if
it's
it doesn't start, it'll never start and it'll never be accepted. If I just think back to, paying with my watch,
yeah,
it couldn't be done to start off with in some places. But now, if it can't be done, it's not the norm. It's out of the ordinary. So I get it. I get it. Although I'm a little bit concerned about this digital ID stuff because I've got something on the UK coming up later.
yeah, yeah. Somebody else has a
Anyways,
problem with that too.
some iPhone 17 users report Wi-Fi and CarPlay connectivity bugs. So that's not quite so good. I'm sure Apple will be out to fix those. iOS 26.1 hints at iPhone adding support for third-party smartwatches. I can't believe
Why would
Apple.
they do that?
Yeah, I agree. I saw this and thought, do they not do it already? They really are kicking themselves in the teeth if they don't do that, because not everybody wants to just go out and buy everything Apple. They may have already, they may have just come over to Apple, got the phone, and they've spent £500 or whatever on a very
A
expensive
Garmin.
Garmin watch, which they're totally happy with.
Yeah,
And then they're going to, well, I'm not going to go out and buy an Apple watch just so I can log it up to my phone. And
yeah, but there's
yeah,
also, I mean, there's apps for all of those phones as well.
yeah, I know. But so this is possibly talking about just having
Have
like
it
a
native into health and all the
native.
rest
Yeah,
of that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
And but I'm just surprised they're not really there with that. How long's the phone and the watch combination
I
been out?
honestly, I'm not surprised.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's Apple and it's a
y-
and it's
Well, yeah.
competing products.
No, yeah, but to be honest with you though, Guy, that's old Apple, that attitude. New Apple are
Mm,
different.
are
Yeah,
they?
they are. Yeah, they are. They are because it's a money making machine now. I mean, it was always a money making machine, but even now I think more and more they're getting away from, you know, just being a company that's
That
looking at.
sells hardware. I mean, look at how much they're making on Surfaces now.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm
it's
sidetracking.
you are. Apple TV star Jessica Chastain is not aligned with Apple on the cancelled release. Last week, a last minute move, Apple decided to cancel its planned release of the new Apple TV Plus series, The Savant. Now, the show's star Jessica Chastain has released a statement disagreeing with the decision. Ooh, there's trouble in them there hills.
Well, you know what
Um,
that's all about.
I'm not sure
Apparently,
what I'm not sure whether it's been cancelled or whether it's been delayed.
I think for now it's been delayed, but the problem, I don't know if it's a problem. Apparently the bad guy in this show is some kind of white supremacist group. And with everything going on here right now, maybe Apple was like, let's tone down the rhetoric a little bit. I don't know because of course I haven't seen anything on the show other than what I've read. Um, quite frankly, if Apple has delayed it for that reason, that's stupid. They should just, people are going to draw their own conclusions on a TV show for better or for worse, no matter what Apple does. So just stick to your schedule, stick to your guns and get it out there.
I agree. People, if they think that, and
And they're
they
offended by it,
they'll
then
either watch it or they won't watch it.
yeah,
Totally
if you're
useless.
offended because the bad guys are white supremacists, that kind of says something about you.
Apple calls for changes to anti-monopoly laws and says it may stop shipping to the EU. The iPhone maker criticizes Brussels Digital Markets Act and says delayed features are leading to worse experience for users. Apple has called the European Commission to repeal a swathe of technology legislation, warning that unless it is amended, the company could stop shipping some products and services to the 27-country bloc. It's war out there, Jim.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're going to stop shipping to the EU. Of course they are.
Yeah. We'll see just how much the EU go. Okay. Stop sending your goods then.
Yeah.
It's not going to make any difference to us. Our
what are we
people
gonna
will
do
get
if we don't
cheesed
have
off,
iPhones?
but our people might get cheesed off, but
Yeah,
it's your profit.
What's our alternative if we can't get iPhones?
Well, there are alternatives. It's how it depends how ingrained you are in the Apple ecosystem and whether because I'll tell you what, those some products will be older products, not the newer products where people are upgrading. Hearsay, all hearsay, guy.
All hearsay.
No, I don't need to bring that one up. US lawmakers seek answers from Apple and other major US firms about the H-1B visa use amid layoffs. I'm not sure how much I'm going to go into this. It's a headline. I've seen it being spoken about. It's going to affect lots of companies. I've got a feeling the larger companies, it won't affect quite so much because
it will.
What you say that they've got the money to spend, guy.
Do you know
If they want someone that badly, they will pay it.
$100,000.
They'll pay it. If they want someone badly, they won't pay it for the lower workers, guy. And that's where it's a problem for the smaller companies. The bigger companies, if they've got a big wig they want, that'll be nothing for them. So I don't think this is good for your smaller companies, to be honest with you.
I don't think it's good for anybody.
It's not good for anybody, but it's even worse for the what we call the SMEs, small to middle-size enterprises.
Yeah.
College football keeps picking iPad over Surface as the fourth conference joins Team Apple. So why the NFL remains tethered to Microsoft Surface tablets like a bad coach? College football is increasingly embracing following a 2024 NCAA rule change that opened the door for sideline video review. A fourth conference has now struck a direct deal with Apple to bring iPad into the game. I'm sure Apple didn't pay them anything or give them any good stuff cheap to get into that.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing, guys. An iPad, just a plain old iPad, $399. And it'll do the stuff that they needed to do on the sidelines.
Yeah. Okay, so basically the EU Commission has responded to Apple's call to scrap the DMA. They've bitten back. The EU have bitten back. Apple has simply contested every bit of DMA since its entry into application. This undermines the company's narrative of wanting to be fully cooperative with the Commission. Results of this positive engagement: after 2 months, Apple came back and asked us to scrap everything. We, of course, fully get companies who wrote this want to defend their profits at all costs, but that's not what the DMA is about. So I told you, it's all out war out there. The DMA, I just love it. I love seeing these backwards and forwards with Apple and the EU. It's just good fun. iPhone driver licenses coming to North Dakota residents.
All 6 of them.
this kind of what the
I'm
residents
kidding. North
what I'm
Dakota. honestly, I do not
yeah.
want to piss off
No,
North
no.
Dakota.
Let's expand on that. Let's expand on that. As Dakota's probably closer to you than it is to me.
Oh, so much. And I'm going to be in
What
Idaho,
was you
which
going to
is like
say? What was you going to say?
that.
Four of
I
those
love
residents
North
are
Dakota and I can't
no.
wait to move to Fargo.
What you said to me was four of those residents are buffaloes.
I did.
Yeah.
Where men and the Buffaloes are nervous.
Yeah. Electronic IDs. I wonder if the
Mm.
UK would like to do that. Apple, Google tell Europe its Digital Markets Act isn't working for them or its consumers. The second line of this headline says, well, they would say that, wouldn't they?
Of course they would.
Friday Night Baseball is to feature footage shot on iPhone cameras. A first for live sports broadcast. Interesting. That was last week, I think. A baseball game was shot on the iPhone 17 Pro.
Yeah, why not?
Tigers and the Red Sox. There you go. Cool. And this is the one. A UK announces plans for digital ID cards. I'm a bit concerned about this, if I'm totally
Yeah,
honest with
I
you.
heard a little bit about this.
Because this they're bringing it in saying it'll make it easier for companies to make sure they're actually employing UK residents and citizens. Yeah, will that? Yes, fine. Those companies that don't and pay cash in hand, same issue, not a problem. What I'm concerned about is where does this then lead on to? Oh, we also need you to use this digital ID to do this and to do this
To
and to
enter a
maybe
bank.
do this and to do that. And we might as well also, yeah.
Need to
Oh,
flush the loo? Use your digital ID
I
first.
do you remember when you used to have to put your ID in to get something printed? God dear.
Yeah. Well, not since I retired.
You got that one in well there.
Oh, I'm
Um,
so happy. I wasn't at
Apple
the time, but I am now.
Apple asked the court to toss the lawsuit over delayed Apple Intelligence features.
No.
Yes, I agree with you. Tim Cook has visited Japan for the grand reopening of the Apple Ginza store.
Ooh,
And guess who he met?
Mr. Ginza? A
Pikachu.
knife?
Pikachu. Pikachu.
Oh, they have somebody in a Pikachu costume.
I don't know. I've not
I'm
seen it, but
sure.
he must have done. But if they're saying he met him, I bet they did.
Yeah, he sat there and said, "Look, it's Pikachu. I choose you."
Yes, they did. It was yes, there was a big costume, or unless it was just an inflatable Pikachu.
It could have been
Yeah. Anyway, I
lightning
like
bolt
that.
coming out of his ass. I don't know.
The thing is, I wasn't going to put that in, but there was so many chats about this Ginza or Ginza store opening.
Yeah, that's a big shopping area there.
But that was the one that I liked. That was the one that I liked. The fact that he also met Pikachu, so that's the one I went with.
Well, I think that was like the lead. That should have been the lead in for the story.
Yeah. This concerns me, Guy.
Uh-oh.
Apple are testing LLM Siri with ChatGPT like app. Now, we're already in the scenario where we've got AI or large language models talking to large language models. It's just going to be rinse and repeat.
Garbage
We have
in, garbage out.
garbage in, garbage out all the time. So them testing it with another thing which they've created, which could equally be crap, could make it even equally crap, if not worse.
Well, remember,
Just concerns me. It concerns me that we can't
yeah,
do this with proper code. And they'll say, yes, it is code. But it's our own
not.
code, which yeah,
You know,
I'm
here's
just concerned that we are actually getting into a circle, which is a circle of ever decreasing circles, not ever
here's the
increasing
thing.
ones.
Right now, you ask Siri a question, and if for some reason Siri is too stupid to answer the question, 99% of the time, it says, "Do you want me to use Chat GPT to answer your question?" And in my mind, I'm more like, don't even ask. Just get me the flippin' boy. That was close. Woo-hoo-hoo, flippin' answer. I shouldn't have to tell it. And if it has to go to a separate service to answer the question, then what good is Siri in the first place?
Correct. They don't need to test it against something else to know that.
Apple, get an LLM integrated with Siri that you have control over as far as where the data goes, and let's move on with it. Thank you.
Apple are aware of an issue with Apple Intelligence on some iPhone 17 models.
Mm.
There is a bug that seems to be preventing some iPhone 17 users from being able to download Apple Intelligence on their new devices, but it could be fixed in the near future. Well, let's hope it is,
Yeah, I've,
because I've got a
I'm,
feeling a lot of people might be buying that phone
yeah,
particularly for that.
I'm picturing it more like you ask, you're like, hey, what's the score on the Tigers Red Sox game? And Apple Intelligence comes back and says, who's asking? Are you asking me? You asking me? You better ask somebody else. I don't got time for your
you
nonsense.
you talking to me?
Talking to me? Just a
Uh,
real belligerent LLM.
that would I'd like that.
Yeah,
I'd
I think that's what we need.
belligerent.
A belligerent LLM.
Music producer publishes an interesting review on the AirPods Pro 3.
Mm.
Composer and music producer Lodovic Voss has published an interesting review. And in it, he shares his experience with the new earbuds and points out a few clever tricks Apple uses to keep the music sounding good, no matter how loud or quiet you listen. The reason I pop this in is not just because that's clever. It's we're living ever more in a world where you just don't know what's real.
Is this real? You
Yes.
and me. I mean,
Y
I've only met you one time. I mean, as far as I know,
well, you think it was me.
yeah, you could be a 3D model of the Gaz that I met that one time.
I'm glitch. I'm glitch. I'm glitch. I'm
Yeah,
glitching.
but here's the thing: you can pretty much guarantee that I'm real because no LLM would do and say the things that I do.
All I don't know. Apparently, there's a report that accuses Apple of ignoring labor issues at a key Chinese supplier, a Chinese supplier now. The NLRB withdraws claims that Tim Cook's anti-leak email violated labor laws. The National Labour Relations Board is no longer targeting Apple for a 2021 email that Apple CEO Tim Cook sent to employees. The NLRB said that it is withdrawing most of the claims in a complaint that accused Cook of violating US labor law. What annoys me about all of these sorts of things is when a claim is made, much like certain politicians everywhere around the world, is they say something and then they it's out there and it's too late and people believe it.
Yeah,
They put a rebuttal in weeks, days, weeks, months, or even years later, but the damage has already been done. There should be some retribution for this.
yeah. The internet
Apple,
is forever.
yeah.
You can't
Apple
take
Mac,
it away. So I'll shut up
Apple,
now.
please. Apple Mac adoption is accelerating across US enterprises. I've got a feeling that Microsoft are helping that situation at the moment.
Really? Why?
Well, they're forcing lots of companies to move to,
Oh, to Windows 11. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I
Sorry, I
think a
wasn't
lot
sure
of
where
a
you were
lot of
going.
people and a lot of enterprises now going, hang on a minute,
Yeah.
let's see what else is out there. I brought this up. Now, where's the link? It said, now actually, I'm going to put that as a tip later, so I'll come back to that later. And apparently, the US. Oh no, I've just done that one. That's fine. And that guy, that is the end of Gaz's snippets.
Okay. Cool. That was a good back and forth there.
It was. It
Yeah.
was.
And
Yeah.
I was not as incoherent as I normally am.
I
Just
think
a
I
couple.
was more. I think I was more incoherent this week,
Well,
actually.
I think it was more along the lines of what the hell is Guy gonna say? What do I
Yeah,
do?
I have to keep on my toes, don't I?
What am I gonna do? Okay. As I was saying at the
Are you
beginning
gonna
of the
put in a
show.
bumper? Go on, choose one of the bumpers and put a bumper in.
Oh,
Go on, who you
I'm
want?
putting bumpers in before the show starts, right
Oh, I s
after the theme music.
sorry, I'll shut up then.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've got enough bumpers from Carl to last us.
I know we've heard them all, but here you
Yeah,
go.
they're there. Um, we don't like, for the most part, we don't like rumors. We don't talk about rumors.
We try not to.
We try not to. But this one, and I saw what you just did. This one intrigued me because I think you and I have talked about this before. Not necessarily in this way, but in
Okay.
why can't the iPad run the Mac OS? Well, now let's turn this around a little bit. Okay. How about an A series processor laptop that runs the Mac OS? So, one rumor going around is that Apple may bring back a name it hasn't used in a while. Not a new MacBook Air, not a MacBook Pro, simply a MacBook. While the name isn't new and really not worth getting excited about, the rumored concept could be. Currently, the MacBook Pro is the most powerful laptop that Apple sells, with the MacBook Air sliding into second place. They both use similar architecture, with screen size, type, and RAM and storage options being some of the biggest differences. Now imagine an Apple laptop that is truly not like any laptop that they currently sell, not powered by an M series processor, but the A series. Yes, the same processor currently in your phone and still in some iPads. Could an A series processor run the Mac OS without serious modifications? Very likely it could. Remember that when Apple first started talking about transitioning away from Intel chips, they released to developers a special Mac Mini
Mm.
that had an A12Z processor. And while no speed demon, it did allow developers to get their applications ready for the first series of the M processor, which of course was the M1. So I guess the real question is, what's the point? All the way down to the A16 iPad, they run iPad OS 26, which gives you a fully usable windowed operating system. Now, is it as easy as the Mac OS? No, but it's good enough, even if a little compromised with file management as compared to its big brothers. And remember that iPads start at $349. So, what, if anything, could entice you to buy an A series MacBook? And I got a couple of questions here for you, Gaz. Um, Number one, what do you want a laptop to do for you? And this should be the number one question. If you're heavy into audio and video editing or other applications requiring heavy processor use, this computer very likely won't be for you. Now, what do you think about that?
I still find the fact of sitting in front of the TV and having the iPad more restrictive than how I remember, because I haven't used it for a long time, how I remember using that first MacBook Air that I got, that little 11-inch MacBook Airs.
Right.
And the difference, I still think, and I still occasionally feel that just having a more manipulative keyboard and trackpad and the multitasking with windows and being able to scroll windows over each other and keep them layered, um, as opposed to the way you have to flick backwards and forwards on an iPad at the moment. And I'll be honest here, I've still got a relatively old iPad. So the newer iPads with the newer iPad OS may be better in the way that you can use them, and I have heard that. But I still think that having a keyboard, and I've got a keyboard with my current iPad, and it's got a little trackpad on it as well, but it just doesn't feel as interactive. And maybe this comes from the fact that we are old school PC users. Let me say that rather
Yeah.
than, yeah. Um, uh, I just feel I've got much more control over that type of keyboard, a fixed keyboard with the trackpad, and the multiple layering that you can do with Windows, because that's often what I do. I'll have a number of windows open because I want to do lots of research. Now, yes, you can have lots of tabs open, but it's not quite the same, because you can lose track of tabs, and you can find yourself closing tabs down. So I'll often have a window and then a new window and a new window. Um, and you can then adjust them so that you can see four windows on your screen, even though it will be quite small. You can see four windows on your screen, or then you've got a different app which you can have layered. And I think for me, not
Yeah. Just
being
like
a
jumping
power
back and
user,
forth.
yeah, I think for me that's the biggest use that a laptop, a Mac OS laptop type machine has over the iPad OS operating system.
Well, the with iPad OS
And
26,
and and
some of
sorry, and
those
let me
are
and let me
direct.
and let me
Go
just
ahead.
jump in with the thought
Sure.
on that. This type of machine would be able to handle that sort of processing easily, because I'm not doing
Yes.
heavy video, I'm not doing heavy photo. But there is another thing that I'd actually like there. Um, I equally like to use the laptop when I'm in photos doing work with my photos. Um, like tagging them, renaming them and putting them in folders. It just feels easier than the iOS process does.
It is. It is. Even with iPad OS 26. Now you've got a lot of windowing options.
Mm.
It can be somewhat confusing, but that's not necessarily Apple's fault, because there are some applications that are, have been updated to work with that better than other applications. But when it comes to file management, iPad OS takes a big backseat to the Mac OS and Windows and pretty much every other
Yeah,
windowing operating
I
system.
certainly agree with you with the file management, but I don't feel, I do hear a lot of people really complaining about iOS file management. I don't find it as bad. I think you've got to jump into it and go with it. But I got to agree, having multiple Finder windows open is something that I often have, because I want
Yeah,
to go from one file to another, and then perhaps I want to move files from one to another. And it's
yeah,
just easy when you've got a window open and you can grab a load of files and just drag them across, or, copy and paste them, whatever you want to do, however you want to do that process.
yeah.
And that's
When I'm like,
much easier on
okay,
that's much easier on a Mac OS
it is,
system.
it is. And when I'm doing, excuse me, video editing or image editing, I'll typically move the results when I want it rendered or pushed or wherever to an external drive, because I don't want to use a lot of space on my internal drive on the Mac Mini. So, the problem with the iPad OS with files is it doesn't work in that way that we're all used to. And again, this is the same pretty much whether you're in the Mac OS or Windows or Linux, or, pick your windowing operating system of your choice. iPad OS is very limited in that regard. Um, but I think the main thing is how well will an A series processor, a current A series processor. So, I mean, as we record this, that would be like the A19 Pro, run the Mac OS, because it has fewer CPU cores, it has fewer GPU cores, it has fewer neural engine cores, uh, less memory capability and less storage capability. Because remember, both the A series and the M series chips are systems on a chip. So everything is
Yeah.
built into the processor. So does that mean that Apple would have to add internally an SSD, or would they have to change the processor on the A series side so that they could have, say, a minimum or maybe even a maximum of 16 gigs of RAM and 256 to 512 gigs of storage? Now, at that same time, with the iPhone 17, I think you can get those with up to 2 terabytes of internal storage, something like that.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
maybe the storage part of it isn't as big of a deal, but the RAM part of it, I believe, is still maxed out at 12 gigs. So if somebody knows better than that,
But
let us
again,
know.
this is where it comes back to the usage of this machine would be much lower use. So
Yes.
it's almost just like a, I don't want to use the word browsing machine, but that's the easiest terminology that I think most people
Yeah,
could,
it would still be better
would
than like
align
a
to.
Chromebook,
Mm,
but
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, but it would be limited to what it could do based on its physical
Power.
capabilities. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Agreed.
question 2. Do you need connectivity options not currently available on Mac laptops? We haven't discussed it, but you can get an iPad with a cellular option. Having a nearly always on connection at cell speeds, which are pretty fast these days, does that interest you? Since we're talking imaginary devices, this might be possible. What do you think? Do you think Apple would put a cell chip in a Mac
I
laptop?
I think they would. It'd be a charged option, I think.
Oh yeah,
Um,
of course.
and it's certainly so. You see, if you're going to buy one of these, I I think it'd just be a charged option. I don't think it would be a standard option, but I think it would have to be an option. If you're going to be buying a slightly more expensive Mac device, you're more likely to have already been or be in the Mac ecosphere. And when you're in the Mac ecosphere, that probably means you've got an iPhone. If you've got an iPhone, you'll just tether.
Yeah, but here in the States, some companies charge
Oh, I
extra for that.
sorry, I forgot. I forgot the
Yeah,
States is not the land of the free. Sorry,
it
I
is
forgot.
not.
I forgot. I forgot. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I
It's the land of being
apologize.
charged.
I apologize. It's just not good. But yeah, okay, fine.
Okay, well now just imagine this scenario. Wouldn't this be with a cellular connection and an unlimited data plan? Wouldn't this be like the perfect laptop for college students where they're now not dependent upon Wi-Fi and depending on where they go to college and where
To
they're
be honest
living,
with you, though, is Wi-Fi not pretty ubiquitous?
it depends.
Well, I
Um,
know it depends. I know it, but it's pretty ubiquitous. And
it's around. Yeah,
if you've got a device like that and you're going somewhere to work, you will have already understood whether you've got Wi-Fi available at that place where you're going to take this to do some work.
very likely. But a cellular connection would probably be more secure.
Hence, why I think it will be an option.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I
Question
think, but
3.
I
Oh,
think
go
this
ahead.
device will. Sorry, but I think to your real question is, I think this device would warrant having that
Yes.
option.
And it's already mostly built into the current, I want to say motherboards, but that's not really the word I was looking for. Of most of the devices that are using A series chips. Now, you can get an iPad that doesn't have a cellular connection, but chances are the motherboard on that iPad is no different from one that has it.
Yeah.
It's just whether it's turned on or not. All right. With battery life being so important on an A series based Mac, it should get even better battery life than an M series one. And I think the current batch of M-based laptops, it's like 18 to 24 hours, maybe more.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I
Okay, but
haven't.
an A series based Mac, all things being equal, should have superior battery life to an M series one. And of course,
I mean, absolutely, and it will have, because that's how these phones have leapt forward into be able to be used
all day,
be, all day,
sometimes 2 days.
because the processor is so efficient.
Yes,
And I think that's, that was a lot of discussion when that first laptop came out for developers to have a look at. A lot of people were jumping up and down because it is a much less power hungry um,
very true.
CPU. So
Especially
uh,
then, especially as compared to Intel processors.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, and the last thing I've got here, of course, is
But
price.
to also, sorry, just to finish
Yeah,
off
go
there.
ahead.
Um, However, I think now I go onto a bus and there is a USB connection for me to be able to charge a device. I really don't think that people worry now about something not being able to get charge somewhere. There will be times and places where you need that extra life, but again, I think now most people will understand, if they're going somewhere where they need that extra life, they will accommodate themselves to be able to make sure they've got
Yeah,
power to be able to continue through that session, because there are very few places now where you can't actually plug in to
plug in.
give
Yeah,
yourself that extra
most
power.
most planes now have either
Yeah, yeah.
some kind of power that you can use to
I
connect to
mean,
your
we're in
laptop.
Wales, there was a small, like 40 seater, and there's USB connections around just so you can plug in and charge up. Now, whether there's enough power in those, but again, it's the A series machine, so maybe there will be. I don't know. I don't know. I I
Okay,
I think long battery life is important, but I think these it wouldn't be a problem for these to be able to accommodate what is required.
okay. Well, do you think that having a longer battery life in an A series laptop versus an M series laptop would entice you to get the A series, or would that
No,
not really
no,
be
no, I don't. No, I don't think that's the greatest criterion for your choice
okay?
on that.
All right. And of course, the last thing, price. An A series laptop would likely be at least a few $100s less
Mm.
than an M series one based on likely compromises. It wouldn't have as much RAM or storage space if it uses the stock A series chips from phones and tablets. To bring the price down even more, the screen will probably be smaller. I'm guessing like 12 inches, and of a lesser quality than the MacBook Airs and Pros. You think
I,
that's likely?
it has to be, and I think it's got to be more than a few $100 less.
Okay. Well, right now, and I'm talking US prices, the cheapest you can get a MacBook Pro is $1,600. And the cheapest MacBook Air, and not counting tax and all that other stuff, the cheapest MacBook Air is $1,000. So if you were Tim Cook, or you were in charge of whoever's going to set the prices for something like this, what would you set the base price at?
The base price that I would set it at is nowhere near the base price that Apple would set it at, but I'd set it at 499
499.
for your
I
base model.
Yeah, I don't think Apple would do that.
I just said that, guy.
I know. I know. If I was going to guess, I would say either 699 or 799 is what
I
Apple
I
would
agree.
do.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But I don't think that would be enough. I think they'd need to go, if they went 499, if they went under $500. Um, the only issue there, of course, is it then might compromise their iPad sales.
Okay, so you are agreeing with me then.
I'm nodding my head.
Very good.
Hit it. Gaz's tips.
Haven't done this in a while.
Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
It's time for
Gaz's tip.
More tips and tips for a first time, actually. Yeah, no, I did do one in the first couple.
yeah, very first show you did it.
And also observations. Let's put it that way. So apparently, I think on iOS 26 now you can over USB-C you can output your iPhone 17 screen to an external display.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that interests me.
For instance, use a USB-C to HDMI cable and show your iPhone screen on a 4K TV monitor with screen mirroring. No more intermediately dongles required. If you want to do this across long sessions like playing games and external devices, you may want to pick up the Apple USB-C digital AV adapter. But it looks like it's a lot easier to just link and go onto a large screen. So could be good. iOS 26 as well. Take better panoramas. This is something I like. There are quite a few under the hood improvements, apparently. If you've ever struggled to take a panorama, I've taken quite a few, and they can be really good, actually. But if you've ever struggled to take one because of the speed, the experience should be better, apparently, because you can move quicker when you're taking your panorama without it ending up in a blurry mess. So watch out for that. And one more on iOS, actually. Another tip. This is something which I've looked at, and I have checked and put it on. So you go into settings, you then go down to apps, and in apps you go down to phone. In phone, you then scroll down, and there is now 3 options under screen unknown callers. You now have never screen them, so calls from unsaved numbers will ring and missed calls will be displayed on the recents list. You've also got silence. Calls from unsaved numbers will be silenced, sent to voicemail and displayed on the recents list. Calling and data rates may apply. And you've also got, which I think this is the new bit, ask reason for calling, which I've got checked. It hasn't happened to me yet, but I've got this as checked. So calls from unsaved numbers will be asked for more information before your iPhone rings. Calling and data rates may apply. So it will then come back and give you the information that they've given the phone as to why they're ringing you and who they are.
Assuming that it's not a
Let's see how that works. But I've got it on to see how that one works. But I thought that was quite an interesting one. So
yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I'll have to check.
Well, I'm nodding my head that you didn't know that.
That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Gaz, you are absolutely right.
There we go. Oh, we have our timing down. So, no feedback this week, so we're just going to skip that whole section. Remember that if you have done an iTunes review and we've spoken on the show about it, you need to send me an email to get your woo tea. And if you don't know what a woo tea is a big W, big O, big O, big O, big O, big O, big T.
Big O.
It's like woo. Big T, little I, little E, exclamation mark. That is a woody. And you can say whatever it is you want about us. If it's a bumper, keep it between 5 to 10 seconds. And of course, if it's in response to something that we've said on the show, it can be as long as you want. Just and we actually prefer recorded messages because it's so much easier to get out there, and that way we don't have to read. And we're old guys. Our vision isn't what it used to be. And if you have any friends, tell them about the GMen podcast. If all you have is enemies, tell them as well, because it'll really piss them off. And if you'd like to help support the show, you can do so by going to ko-fi.com /parrot.
That was a bit quick, wasn't it?
Premature parrot. You can also go to PayPal, and that would be paypal.me /MacParrot. we have a Discord channel, and just look up Vert Shark and it'll be there. And I'm sure lots of stuff is going on. I need to check it more often than I do. Guess. If people wanted to contact you and say, what the hell is Guy talking about? How would they do so?
His name was Guy.
Oh,
Ever so easy. All you do is send an email to Gaz, G-A-Z,
yes.
at mymac.com. Or on the socials. I'm on a few socials. So, you know, things like BlueSky, which I check occasionally. I'm even on Threads. I'm not on Twitter. I'm on what's that other one? Oh, Mastodon. I'm on Mastodon. Yeah. Things like Strava. I'm in Twatface. You might not find me in Twatface as GazMaz, but most others you will find me as GazMaz. And if you can't find me as GazMaz in those places, send an email to Gaz, G-A-Z, at mymac.com. However, Guy and Gaz, G-U-Y-A-N-D-G-A-Z,
Of course.
yeah, are both on Twitter and BlueSky.
They are. Oh,
Although it's X, not Twitter.
forgot to tell you.
Oh, what?
My wife has started watching Thunderbirds.
Yay! Hang on a minute. Oh, I wish you told me that sooner. Okay, so
Stand by for action.
She loves it.
Anything can happen in the next half hour. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Longest contact segment ever.
okay.
If you don't know what that means as far as Thunderbirds goes, look it up.
Yes.
Not hard to find.
Guy,
Yes.
if people want to contact you,
Guy was paid his 75 grand. So
Do we know it was a guy? I like to go with Guy.
Guy says,
I do.
No fooling.
that's made him happy now.
He's the guy.
I am.
Guy.
If you want,
An email from Guy.
how would they do it?
Oh, it's so easy. You go to the email client of your choice and then type in at mymac.com. That is GUI at mymac.com. You can find me over on the Twatex as either MacParrot or Vert Shark. I am also over there on the Skies of Blue as MacParrot. And of course, yeah, Facebooks. You know, who isn't on Facebook? You know, everybody and their grandmother's on Facebook these days. But there is one other really bad way that you can get a hold of us.
I don't know why we keep doing this.
Because it's funny. You can get a hold of us through our Google Voice number, Gaz. Do you know what that number is?
Call 703-284-677 for the My Mac podcast with Guy and Gaz. It's tech heaven. That's 703-828-4677. Get in touch now. Your call is our
And there it goes. If you missed that, and you very well could have, I'm going to play another one here for you.
703-828-4677.
That's right, guys. What was that number again?
703-828-4677.
Yeah, that's right.
7 7.
Yeah.
If you're outside the US, put a 1 in front of that number. And if you do call from outside the US, you may well be charged. So
you very well may be charged.
Use one of the other methods.
Yeah. If you're in the States and want to call it, that's fine. You know, leave a message that way. That's fine. I've got some other stuff going on. Guys Daily Drive archives, going all the way back to 2018. We're still in the first year, 2018. I think I'm up to April or May. I think it's April of 2018.
Who cares, Guy?
Putting
Who
those out
cares?
3 times a week. And it's all over there in Spotify. And Tales from the AI Verse, which still only has one episode.
Yeah, but boy, is it a good episode.
It's so good. You guys got to hear that
To
episode.
know.
It's so good. I've completely lost what I'm going to say now. Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for downloading and listening to the GMen podcast. It is greatly, absolutely, all joking aside, greatly, greatly appreciated. We really enjoy that you listen to us. And Gaz, I think we're weird enough.
Yes.
Yeah. And that doggone it, this week we were smartish enough.
No.
Yeah. And that woof. Yeah, thanks, Steve. Woof, woof, woof. Wolf, wolf. That amazing pup. People like us.
This is a callback, particularly for Guy.
Okay.
I'm so good at sleeping, Guy. I can do it with my eyes shut. End.